Hey, what's up guys? Langer here, back on another analysis video. And in this video, we're going to talk about range blast set. We've already done the calf blast set and the mix set. So in today, we're going to look at it from a free-to-play perspective. And the first thing you're going to notice, this is basically my range set. I am a range-focused account because I have several accounts. One of them is for cav, one of them is for inf. And the first thing you're going to notice is I have some pieces that are not really optimal, but basically we're going to go look at every slot, every pieces that we can look at in the different gear slot, and we're going to analyze what is good and what you guys should do from a free-to-play perspective. So let's go in the cabinet. Let's look at the equipment. We're going to start with the main hand. Basically, guys, the best piece of gear you can get that is not champion. Sadly, it is going to be the worm rod. The problem with the worm rod, as usual, it's the rares. Usually you want to save those rares for level 60 piece of gear. Personally, I've built this up to purple and then I decided to stop and save my rares for the cornet. And I simply swap my main end with my mix piece of gear, which one am I using? It is the Skull Crusher, obviously. So if we look at the top tier, sadly, the Worm Rod is the best piece of gear. Let me see if there's something in the level 60 that I cannot make. No. So the first one would be the Worm Rod because of the 35% attack and 24% HP. If you look at it, this is better than the alternative that are not level 60. It's better than the Decadent Sword. Obviously, the HP is better than the defense, and it's better than the Nectar Orb because you get more range HP from the Worm Rod. It is definitely only useful for a blast, a range blast. And like I said, realistically, the only other option that is not champion, because obviously champion is a different beast, that would be the Skull Crusher. Skull Crusher gives you 49% attack. It is slightly better in that regards to the Worm Rod. Basically 14% more attack, but you're losing about 24% HP, a little bit over 24%. In that case, for me, the extra attack is not worth it. So that's why I consider that the Worm Rod is a little bit better than the Skull Crusher. But basically, guys, the reason why I don't suggest Worm Rod for free to play is because you really should build a mix set. First of all, focus on that, get your jewels in. So Skull Crusher is definitely the best option for a mix set. Frostwing Sword would be the second one for a mix set. That is not champion, but for range, it's not that great. It's obviously the worst one in the range category for the Frostwing Sword. So, and for the Skull Crusher, it's definitely very good for range. So you will want to have some jewels in there. So if you have a gold jewel, that's going to bring that total to 69% attack. And at that point, 69% attack is definitely better than 35% attack and 24% HP. Obviously, you could put some jewels in there, but I always suggest to invest your jewels in your mix set first. So this is why top tier for me for a free-to-play would be to use a Skull Crusher with mixed jewel for your range blast set. And if later down the road you're able to finish your cornet to mythic and you want to work on a Worm Rod, it's a good strategy, but we're talking about several years until you can get both a Worm Rod to mythic and a cornet to mythic. All right, like I said, there's really nothing else that you should be doing free to play in there. Like I said, let's see, Nectar Orb and Decadent Sword, you should save those rares for the Bumble Elm and the Cups. All right, let's move to the helmet. And so in the helmet, there's two things you could be doing. It's the Wormborn Cornet. It is specifically for range. It has some range only attack as well as army HP, but really when you're looking at a blast, you're going to look at this. The other one would be the Bumble Elm. Now the Bumble Elm is pretty good. It's pretty good. So basically you get 3% less attack, 3.5% less attack. You're getting 11%, 10% of HP. So just looking at those two together, I would think that the Bumble Elm is better. But the thing is, you also have some defense. That defense probably equals another 3% attack. So in that case, it's like, okay, so what is better? 3% attack, 6% extra attack from the Cornet when you convert the defense, or 10% from the HP from the Bumble Elm. In my suggestion, these are basically equal. So a good strategy for free to play is to use the Bumble Elm with mixed jewels in there. It is not a bad strategy. And then later on, when you're able to finish your mix set and fully jewel your Cornet, this would be a good strategy. Now the thing is, some people will say, well, if I put my mix jewels in there and it makes it a little bit better, what about if I have some different jewels in my Cornet, which is basically what I'm doing. So with those two jewels in there, it makes the Cornet better. And obviously the Cornet is at gold compared to a purple one. Once I get this to gold, which is very, very close, those two jewels in there will still make the Cornet a little bit better for range blast. In the future, when I'm done with jeweling my Bumble Elm, I will definitely have full range jewels in my Cornet, which is gonna make it definitely better than the Bumble Elm. But if you're looking at both of them without jewels, they're pretty much equal. Is there anything else you could be doing with Elmet? Really, there's nothing. Please don't waste your Curse Skull on Ancient Hat. Frostwing Elm is not great, obviously. There's really nothing else. Really nothing else. Let me go see. Is there like a polar? Yeah. What about the Serpent Mask though? Okay, 42% attack and 35% defense. So it does not really compare to those. Yeah. The Wormborn is still better. So there's really nothing. I would not go for the newer monsters because the rares are very, very bad. So it's definitely, guys, it's a question of your jewels. Going with the Bumble Elm with your mixed jewels is a great strat. And later on, when you fully jewel your Wormborn, or even with defense jewel, it's still a great strategy. So definitely with the Wormborn, you're not doing anything wrong, and with a Bumble Elm, you're also not wrong. The armor, okay, non-champion, because champion is definitely great. This one's a tough one because the beastly armor is the best one that you can get. But it's really hard to get, and some people with Cav Blast will go with the Lunar Boomerang in the Offen. But this is definitely the best piece that you can get for range blast. In the past, people would be doing the Ardent Carapace. The Ardent Carapace, I will show you something. I had a purple Ardent Carapace, which gives me 16 attack and 6% defense. I believe that a green... Yeah, I believe that a green Beastly Breastplate is about equal to a purple Ardent Carapace. So this is definitely better. This is definitely the best piece of gear. Doing this, I considered this a mistake in the past, which I'm now using all my Queen Venoms for the Bumble Elm. Really nothing else. That would be a waste on the Edonic Cuirass. What else? There's really nothing that has range. I see people doing the Deathly Mental. That's a mistake too. That's a mistake. Some people will say, well, you know what? Since the Beastly Breastplate is so hard to level up and the Ardent Carapace I have skipped. Some people, what they'll use the Firewall Plate while they are still building their set, and they'll say, well, it provides me with a lot of army HP, which is still good for range. So if you have a 20% range jewel, it is not that bad. So you got to remember, from free to play, it's about the jewels that you have. Aside from that, there's really nothing there's really nothing you should be using on the armor side of things. Um, it's a great thing to go with the beastly breastplate if you're not going for the lunar scimitar. Like I said, even at blue grade, it's still pretty good. Would this be better than a no idea. Well, yes, obviously at blue it would not be better than a mythic firewall plate with 20%, with a jewel of 20% in there. But it really depends on how you jewel. My suggestion: always jewel your mix set first, and then look at the other type of jewels that you can put on your blast. Beastly breastplate, definitely the thing to do. If you have done the Bumble Elm, you can start working on the Ardent Carapace. Aside from that, if you are going for the Lunar Scimitar from this, I would suggest to simply skip having a pretty good range blast. Next up would be the legs. There's really one option here, and it's Dragon's Talon. 42 range attack and 21% HP. There's really nothing else you could do aside from champion. Lots of people will build the champion stride. If you are skipping the Dragon's Talon for, let's say, the Dragon's Fist on your cab set, I would suggest that you do the champion boots as an alternative for a range blast. This is pretty good. And in fact, even at lower grade, the champion boots will beat the Dragon's Talon in the blast settings. But really, it's only the Dragon's Talon that's non-champion. People will think about the legs of the Deceiver. I would not waste mutated brains, even though it's only two. I would keep them for the Skull Crusher. Aside from that, nothing else in the boots that you guys could do. Well, the Blizzard pants are not bad. They're super hard to get, guys. Super hard to get. I prefer to get the Polar Ring with the Ambergris crystals, but it would be good. 42 and 16, as well as 14 defense. Would it be better? Let me look. I don't think it's be. No, it would be about the same because whatever you gain from the defense would basically make up or close to make up the HP. Stick with the Dragon's Talon. Next up would be the Offen. For the Offen, I know some people like the Codex. Codex really hard to level up compared to the Winter Mitts. Winter Mitts is really easy to level up. So basically, when you look at this, you get 49% attack compared to 14. So basically, there's 35% attack, but you get 35% HP and then 35% defense. That 35% defense is equal to about like 3 or 4% attack. So the question is, do you how much do you value HP versus attack? And the thing is, you're gonna most likely use the Winter Mitts in your mix set. So this is why I would suggest using the Winter Mitts, which is what I'm doing on this set. Maybe in the future I will swap to the Codex, but it's still just purple and it's not very close. And even at gold, I don't think that at gold it would beat it. Maybe when I'm able to put another jewel in there, but it's gonna take a long time. In the Offen, I don't believe there's anything else we should talk about aside from champion. Yeah, there's really nothing. I would not go with any other options for range aside from those two. And I would still think that what about this one? Range attack. See, this one's not bad, but it's once again very, very hard to level up. So this is why I kind of disregard this. Maybe in the future when we have better options. Now, in the accessories, there are several ones we could talk about. If we compare, let's say, the Blight Ring with the Cup provides 35 attack compared to 19, so basically 16% more. The HP is equal, so you get the same, but you get 21% defense. I think that the defense is worth about 2% in that case. So really, the Cup is better than the Blight Ring by about 14% attack. So definitely a Cup. A Blight Ring is also a great accessory here. What else is good? I know some people will have. I would stay away from the Worm Sealed. Worm Seal, how does it compare? 22% attack and 11% HP. How does it compare to the ring? It's worse than the ring. It's worse than the blight ring. Obviously, it takes less rares. It's only 3 compared to 7 on the ring. But the cost is really the coronet. So if you're gonna do this, your coronet's gonna be lower level. I don't think it's a great investment to do the worm seal. Burning Scroll is also a good thing you could do, but look at this. It's only 12% and 12% HP. So the Burning Scroll is really good for mix, but it's not that great for blast. Since some people do one ring, one cup, and one scroll, it's not a bad thing to do, but it's not optimal. It's not optimal. I personally do two cups and one ring, because the cups are, even though it takes a lot of rares, they're not that hard to level up, because of the various ways we can get those rares. Polar Ring is super good, but it's very hard to level up. It's about the same as a cup, but the thing is, it costs 5 more rares, and those rares are very hard to get. As you can see, basically in 2 years since these have been released, I've only been able to get the equivalent of a great ring. So once again, guys, be careful splitting your rares with the worm seal. A burning scroll with basically a 20% jewel in there would make it pretty good, but you may want to look at a combination of rings and cups for this. So basically, when you look at my set, this is how I get this set with these pieces of gear. I wouldn't mind using this if it was like higher leveled and I didn't have these jewels. Like I said, I have this piece of gear, but I decided to maybe work on it in the future when I'm done with Coronet, which is gonna happen. It's gonna happen before the end of the year, I believe. 2.5, maybe before the end of the year. And like I said, maybe in the future I'm gonna switch to Codex, but I still don't think it's that great. The HP from the Winter Myths is very good, very good. Aside from that, I think that almost all of it is like top tier for what you can get free to play. Now let's look at the heroes. Let's set up a heroes and familiars. Let's set up a fake darkness, guys. Let's do this. 5 minutes. All right, heroes, guys. So what are the best heroes for range? First of all, it's going to be Snow Queen. Snow Queen with 30% attack and 50% HP is the best one. Second best one, I think it's Black Crow with the 50% defense, and really it's the 50% HP that makes it very good. I think that this combination is better than what you're gonna get from. Oh, wait a second. No. This guy. Oh, I think that Black Crow and Tracker are about the same as far as 30% attack is somewhat about equal to 50% HP. So that's the only difference, the 30% attack and 50% HP. I consider that they're both the same. Next up would be this girl, Death Archer with 30% attack. We are going to ignore Bombing Goblin because 20% attack is not that great. So anyway, you need 4 range heroes, so these are the top ones for range. Bombing Goblin is mostly a mixed heroes for the army attack, and then you would usually complete with an army hero. People usually have Rose Knight once you unlock for the army attack. Once you unlock Watcher, you would put Watcher because Watcher gives you 20% army attack as well as 25% army HP. And you would never use Chaos Dragon because the 25% attack, the 5% extra attack is not as good as what you're gonna get from the HP from Watcher. So basically, if I did not have Watcher, this is what I would send. I know some people will say, well, it's about the same as this. True, it's about the same as sending Bombing Goblin. But you can still get some, and not much, but some tactics by sending some buffers. But at the end of the day, it's not that much. All right, so these would be the heroes that you would send. Never send this guy. Trickster provides nothing. You can still get the squad attack, but if you send 5 heroes, there's only 4 that are going to proc. So this guy is very much worthless. Same thing with Boommeister, guys. These are all passive. I know some people don't know that, but it doesn't show that they're passive from the screen. This is the thing that I don't like. It shows on the hero page, but not from this screen. But if I add them, you see the stats on the right side, they don't add. So it's passive. While if I add this, the stats are going to be added. Anyway, so basically, if you have Watcher, guys, this is the setup you want to send. Don't send Bombing Goblin. All right, so I'm kind of going to confirm that. And then we move to the familiars. So we're gonna start with, let's say you've done your familiars with the mix set in mind. So you're gonna have Tailwind from the Griffin as your brilliant orb, your yellow orb familiar. You're gonna have these 2 guys priority to this one first, because adding HP is better than reducing HP. And then once you've done these 2, you're gonna start working on your stacking familiar. So regardless, once you get to range, please focus 1 familiar at a time. Unlock it and get it to level 10. Don't level them up at the same time. You're just going to be bad for a long time instead of being very good in one aspect, let's say range, and bad at the other troop type, rather than being bad at every troop type. So once you unlock Trickstar, you're gonna remove a Drown Out from Aquarius. You're gonna put Trickstar in, and once you're done with your stacking familiars, and then you move on to the 15%, you're gonna remove Evil Weevil. You're gonna put this guy, and later on you can also use this guy, the Magus. I believe that at this point this is my setup, because at level 9, for 48% attack and HP for 12 seconds, that's a pretty good time. I believe that around level 5 or 6, this guy becomes better than this guy. And trust me, guys, even though at level 3 or 4 it shows a bigger amount than 15%, the time that it stays there is not as good. It's not worth it. So, but later on you're gonna have this. Now if you unlock a 4th slot, that's where you would put back in this guy, and if you unlock a 5th slot, I would put back in this guy. Now as far as this is the this would be my top tier. I am working on a pack 5 familiar, currently Black Wing. Where is this guy? Should be at the bottom. I am for my suggestion for pack 5, you should go for the big one. So that's Blackwing, Gargantua, and Bon Appetit. So range, cav, and inf. I would skip the UE ups as far as the army talent. UE ups, Queen Bee, and Frostwing. And the reason for that is that they proc at 8%. So they're not that useful in a defensive settings. Losing 8% of your troops is a lot of troops. Losing 4% of your troops is basically more reasonable. So these guys are gonna proc if you get attacked. So basically, you want to unlock a familiar that is going to be useful offensively and defensively. So that's why I'm going to go with Blackwing. The skills are nice, but I'm talking really about the army talent. So personally, I did complete Griffin, and then I'm saving all my orbs for this guy. Right now, I'm pretty sure I could get about level 4 with 376. I need 1,600 to get to level 10. It's going to take a while. I'm still in the phase of getting the runes. I'm missing 86. But yes, so I would suggest that you focus on one. If you're free to play, you can really do like 1 or 2. It's going to take a long time just to get Griffin to max. I know some people will also look at Eldrider for the yellow orbs. It's not a bad thing to do. I've had some suggestion of which one on the, not this one. Not this one, not Saberfang. So that's the other. That would be this one. No, not this one. Where is this other? I think it's this guy. Yes. So I'm not a big fan of these because they're only good for blast. They're not good for your mix settings. And so I don't suggest focusing on. I don't suggest that you guys focus on one blast familiar. I would suggest that you do familiar that are good offensively and defensively. That's a huge investment. I believe that this is 600. I think it's 600 total to max this. That's a lot. That's basically the same cost as Griffin. So and these are really hard to come by. Alright guys, that's basically it for this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this strategy. Are you guys planning a range blast set, or are you simply ignoring the blast set? Are you free to play, pay to play? What's your game style and all that stuff? This is not the last one. I'm gonna do another one on infantry and release it at some point in the future. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.